Hello everyone, I am Rob of the Rob and Pay channel, and today I am going to talk a bit about what I think the absolute foundation of a healthy financial life is. I am someone who kind of recently actually started over again in life. I was a Buddhist monk for almost 10 years, and I started over again in my life basically at the age of 30. And at first, actually, when I started over, my plan was to go back to the monastery. So I wasn't even really trying to save up a lot of money and build like a strong financial future for myself. I only started that about 2 years ago, after going back to the monastery again and deciding to leave. So in 2 years, I went from not having a job, not even knowing where I was going to live, and not having a college degree. Still don't have a college degree. I went from that to feeling very financially secure in a high cost of living area in California in the year 2025, which I am sure many people would like to be in the same situation, especially with things being what they are now. And I think the reason why I have found myself in this situation, luck, I think for sure has something to do with it, but it's also just how I live my life and how I deal with my desires. So as I mentioned, the foundation for financial health. I think the foundation is being able to have desire for something come up and not immediately act on it. The reason why so many people now have difficulty with their finances and are having difficulty affording things, even though they are making decent money, is because anytime a desire for anything comes up, they can't just sit on that desire, contemplate it, and let it pass. They feel so much discomfort that they just have to go out and buy the thing that they desire. Now, for sure, wages have not kept up with the cost of living. If you're in a high cost of living area, rent is very expensive, food is very expensive, transportation is expensive. If you can't afford these things because your wages haven't increased, then I am not in any way saying that it's your fault for being poor. Not at all. But if you are making enough money to cover the cost of those things and you have money left over to spend and you're spending them on unnecessary things, then this is where you're causing trouble for yourself. So I'll just bring up one recent example that I myself have dealt with. I got into Warhammer 40,000 recently. For anyone who doesn't know, it's this. It started out as a miniature game. You have these little plastic miniature figurines, and they come unassembled, unpainted in boxes. They're very expensive. You put them together, you paint them, and you go and play with other people. You set your armies up on a field, and then there are books and video games, spin-offs of it. And I got very into this hobby through a video game. The least expensive way to get into it, really. And I started to really want to buy the figurines, which are super expensive, and you need a bunch of them. And I was watching videos about playing and watching videos about the miniature hobby in particular. And I really wanted to buy it, but I also really like saving my money. I really like investing. I kind of get a dopamine hit actually from investing money. And if I went and bought these figurines and I'd be spending so much money on them, I wouldn't be able to invest as much. So I sat on this desire. I could feel the discomfort of this desire, this feeling of discomfort, wanting something, but not being able to get it. So I started to imagine myself, I go out to the store and I drop several $100s on these little plastic miniatures, and then I have to spend a few hundred more like on the equipment to paint them, and then I have to give up the time on my weekend to actually go to a game store to spend a few hours playing with these things. And the more I thought about this, I imagined myself doing it, and then it's like, okay, I've been doing it for a while. Like I'm just sitting there for hours painting them. How much fun am I actually having doing that? And how fulfilled do I feel once I've collected these and I have them painted and they're sitting on a shelf? Is that still bringing me any joy? No, it just becomes another thing that I own. So once I sat with that feeling and contemplated that desire in this way, it just kind of fell away, and I no longer had any desire to buy these things. And I felt happy. It was like, oh, great, okay, good. I don't have to spend my time doing that, and I get to save money. And I feel at ease now. And I feel a greater sense of self-confidence having had this desire come up, and I was strong enough to not act on it. Great, fantastic. I think one of the reasons why I was able to contemplate my desire in this way, like imagining myself having gotten this thing, and then imagining like how kind of bored I feel with it after I get it, is because in the past I really wanted something, and I went out, acted on that desire, I got it, and shortly after that, it's like, oh, it's just that much. Like it no longer brings me any joy after I get it. Like when I was younger, I got my first car, I got my Mustang, and it was like awesome. It felt great getting into it for the first time. Driving it home didn't feel so great when I parked in a gas station and couldn't turn it back on because there was a problem with the battery. But I had the Mustang, and I thought it was like great for like a month or so. Loved it, felt awesome. Every time I got into it, felt awesome when I looked at it. And then it just, after a while, becomes this thing that I own. I don't care about it anymore. It doesn't really bring me any joy having it. I don't get anything out of having it. It's just an expense and a thing that I have. And when you can reflect on that experience, like reflect on that experience of getting something and then losing interest in it, like reflect on that and try to imagine yourself feeling that same way with this new desire that you haven't yet acted on, because almost inevitably you will feel the same way. I'm not telling you to never act on any desire. This is a tool that you can use to keep your desires in check and keep your desires in line with what you're able to afford financially. You use this when acting on a desire would not allow you to meet financial goals like saving for your future, and in particular investing for your future. If you're not investing for your future's not going to be very great, like looking at the way things are now. So this is something I've done, and it's something that I encourage people that I know to do as well. And sometimes I read posts online by people saying that they need millions of dollars to retire. So they like run themselves ragged trying to save up millions of dollars for a retirement. And when you look at like what they're hoping to do, or like what they're saying about other people retiring with significantly less, saying, oh, you'll be bored out of your mind. Yeah, you can retire with like $1 million or $2 million, but you'll be bored out of your mind. The reason why they need millions to retire is not because they need millions for food and housing. They need millions to act on every single desire that pops up in their mind, because they cannot deal with the discomfort of wanting something and not getting it. Now, that is a choice that everyone is free to make. Everyone is free to decide that they are going to try and chase every desire that pops up in their mind anyone wants to do that, they're free to do it. If they complain about not having enough money, I don't feel any sympathy for them. But for myself, I've found it better to have a desire come up, and if it's not something that I can reasonably come up with the money for, I think it's better to just stare it down and contemplate it and deal with it. But for myself, I found it better that if there is any desire that comes up and it would take me too far off the path of where I want to be for my financial future, either right now, like my short-term financial future, or my long-term financial future, I think it's better to just allow that discomfort to come up, stare it down, deal with it, contemplate it, and see it pass. And by doing that, like, I get a dopamine hit from doing that. Like, I feel good when I'm able to do that. It makes me feel more powerful. It makes me feel like I have the power, not just these random desires that are popping up all the time. I have the power to control my own life, my own desires, and my own future. I'm not just a puppet endlessly reacting to this endless flow of desires. And I think that is why, even though I've basically just started out kind of fresh again in life at the age of 32, really, in a high cost of living area without a college degree or like a job that's making a huge amount of money, I am financially stable, no debt. I am continuing to build up like a very nice savings and investment account, and I feel pretty good about my financial future, even with the unfortunate situation we find ourselves in the year 2025. So if you are someone who finds yourself making a decent amount of money, you can cover all of your needs, and you have money for once, you can invest, but you find yourself wasting too much money on your wants, then I think it's worth taking this advice to really deal with your desire, contemplate your desire to overcome it, to secure your own future. I hope this has helped someone, or I hope it's been able to inspire someone to take on this practice, to help yourself in this way. If you found the video helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.